Welcome back to my channel, children. In today's video, I'm going to discuss the topic of non-finite verbs. Now, I've usually heard students complaining that they don't like this topic, they don't understand much about it, but I'm going to try my level best to make it as easy, as simple as it can be to you. So, let us begin. Verbs are of two types, finite verb, the other is called the non-finite verb. Now, what are finite verbs? Finite verbs are those verbs which indicate the tense of the sentence, the person and the number of the subject. Say, for example, he sleeps soundly, or I gave him my book. Now, what happens in the first sentence? He sleeps soundly. The verb sleeps has an S added in the end, which suggests that the subject is singular. Also, the verb in the form sleep, it suggests that the tense is simple present tense. I gave him my book. So the word gave is the past form of the base verb give. So we understand that the sentence is in simple past tense. On the contrary, non-finite verbs are those kinds of verbs which do not indicate the tense of the sentence or the person or the number of the subject. For example, I worked hard to do well in my test. To do. The word do is also a verb, but does it give us the tense? Does it tell us when is it happening or when has it happened? Or do we come to know the number of the subject, or what is the person, whether the subject is in first person, second person or third person? It does not reveal any of these. The second example of this group, walking in the morning is good for health. So the activity of walking is not happening over here, but the name of the action has been placed here. Similarly, in the third example, the cat escaped through the broken window. Again, the word broken is a form of a verb, but again, it does not tell whether the subject is singular or plural. It does not tell when the action happened, when the cat ran out of the broken window. It does not give us any of these information. These verbs are non-finite verbs. If you compare in the sentence, I worked hard to do well in my test. In this sentence, the word worked is an example of a finite verb. It's been written in the past form. It is the past form of the base verb work. So worked is telling us the tense of the sentence, but to do is not giving any information about the tense of the sentence or the information about the subject. Similarly, in the second example, the sentence which says walking in the morning is good for health. In this case, I said that walking is not a finite verb. In this case, however, the word is tells us about the tense of the sentence. Similarly, the third example, the cat escaped through the broken window. The word broken is an example of a non-finite verb. This sentence too has another finite verb, that is escaped. Escaped is the past form of escape. Hence, we come to know from this word that the sentence is in past tense. Okay, so the three examples of non-finite verbs that we got over here is to do, walking and broken, and we see that they all function in different ways. That brings us to the next point of discussion, that is the types of non-finite verbs that we have in English language. So to do is an example of infinitives, walking is an example of gerund, and broken is an example of past participles. Okay, so today I'm going to discuss only infinitives. In my next videos, I'm going to be discussing the gerunds and participles as well. So what are infinitives? Infinitives are examples of non-finite verbs which are mostly preceded by the word to. They do not combine with any subject. Okay, so example, to do, to eat, to play, etc. Let me give an example. I asked him to meet me the next day. Or he came over to inform me about the match. Now, in the first example here, I asked him. The word asked is the past form of ask. Hence, asked is an example of finite verb. I asked him what? To meet me the next day. The phrase to meet is an example of non-finite. The verb meet is preceded by the word to. It also does not tell us anything about the subject sentence. Hence, to meet is an example of non-finite verb. In the next example, he came over to inform me about the match. Again, came is an example of finite verb. Word came is the simple past form of the base verb come. To inform, by the same principle, is the non-finite verb. Another type of infinitives, bare infinitives, in which the verb is not preceded by the word to. So how do we identify the bare infinitive? Like it could be any other verb. They follow all the rules of non-finite verbs. That is, they will not reveal the tense of the sentence or the person or the number of the subject. For example, you can go now. In this case, the word can is a modal and shows the tense of the sentence, not the verb go. So the verb go is an example of a non-finite verb. Infinitive. You can go now can be otherwise understood an altered expression for you can to go now. Now we don't say you can to go now, but I allow you to go now. That makes sense. Okay, so the to go phrase is getting replaced as you can go now. Similarly, in this sentence, I would rather sleep early than be late for work. The verb sleep over here again does not tell us about the tense of the sentence nor anything about the subject. Therefore, it's an example of a non-finite verb and bare infinitive because the sentence should have been said, I would rather to sleep early than be late for work. We don't use the word to over there, although it functions the same way as infinitives do. Therefore, we call these kinds of infinitives as bare infinitives because they don't use the word to before the verb. The next subtopic is where are bare infinitives used? Are after modal auxiliaries like shall, will, must, should, etc. For example, I must call him, he will meet me. In all these cases, the structure should have been I must to call him or I will to meet him, or as I explained earlier, the word to does not precede the verbs in these examples because modals have been used. The second place where bare infinitives are used are after verbs such as bid, feel, hear, know, let, etc. Examples: I felt time slip away. He heard Smita sing at the concert. The same structure is followed. He heard Smita to sing at the concert, but as I explained, to sing is not used in this. It will be he heard Smita sing at the concert. The third place where bare infinitives are used are after the expressions had better, would rather, sooner than, rather than, etc. So, you had better meet the teacher. The fourth place where bare infinitives are used is after the words than and but. When but means except. In examples, let us see. Ravi did nothing but watch the television all day long. He did not do anything other than watching television the whole day. In this case, the word but means except. So, I have received tells us the tense of the sentence. Have tells us that the subject is first person singular. I have received more rejection than help. So, the word help is following the word than, example of a bare infinitive. Last place where bare infinitives are used are after verbs like dare and need. He dared not cross the teacher, or Larry need not bother about me. So we see that the word cross and bother are bare infinitives over here, which are following the words dare and need. The structure should have been he dare not to cross the teacher, or Larry need not to bother about me, but these kinds of expressions are considered to be incorrect. So we omit the word to and only write the bare infinitives cross and bother. The next thing that I'm going to discuss today is joining sentences with infinitives. The first example, I let him go, he went back to his house. So how do I join these two sentences using infinitives? I let him go back to his house. I saw him, he took aim with his bow. I saw him take aim with his bow. The second way of joining sentences with infinitives is by making use of the adverb to, T-O-O, to. Example, he is old, he cannot travel alone. He is too old to travel alone. The next example, the novel is big, I can't finish it in a week. The novel is too big for me to finish in a week. The third type of joining, infinitives are used to shorten sentences by making complex sentences into simple. I expect that I will do well at the annual sports meet. I expect to do well at the annual sports meet. From the sentence that I will do well, this portion is contracted and is written as I expect to do well at the annual sports meet. With this, I come to the end of today's class. I hope the topics that I discussed today are clear to you. If you have any doubts, you can drop in your message in the comment section so that I'll try to cover up those points in my next video. Before I end my video today, I'd request all of you to subscribe to my channel so that you all keep getting my videos in an uninterrupted fashion. Thank you, students. I will soon be back with the next portion of this chapter. Bye-bye.